I hear you, D. We went with Joe, but your point is fair. Like we had people that, just were solid. I look at what Tobias especially did. He's unselfish. He's efficient. He's a wonderful teammate. But to your point, you could have had a few possible bell ringings.
What are you happiest with on the box score? 33 assists, 8 turnovers. Like, there's a lot of good stuff there.
I like, and this is a good question. Yes and yes. The 33 assists, and I think a season low, 8 turnovers, in a game that was really, kind of sloppy. See you, Amir. A game that was kind of sloppy, and they play with such a fast pace. And so to come in with 8 turnovers in that Sunday afternoon environment, like the first period was a video game. It wasn't, how we want to play defense. But the 33 assists and only 8 turnovers in that flavor of a game, I like. I like the fact that they only had 2 fast break points in the second half. I thought we did a better job of getting back and dealing with them in transition defense. And after that, it's a good win at home during a tough stretch that we've been on, and we'll take it and get ready for Boston.
What was the reaction on the bench when Ben just walked up the court and stepped into a 3, which Steve obviously never does?
A little bit like everybody's like, okay. We've talked about this a lot, and I actually thought the shot looked good. I thought the rhythm into it looked good. It was close to going in. He didn't look uncomfortable shooting it. And, he can tell you the story if he chooses to. He and I spoke about this notion for a little bit in the past 24 hours. What's going to happen in the third of the season? How do we better help you prepare for the playoffs? What's coming? We all saw, to an extreme, LeBron not guard him. And we all have memories of the Celtics series. So somewhere in the middle, we have a window of 27 or whatever amount of games left. And I'd like to try some of this stuff prior to the All-Star break and take off with it in the final third. And it's a long explanation to your question, but the underbelly of the reason is significant. Ask him about it. He may share a deeper conversation.
That's something that you think for, even with the amount of firepower you guys have to really allow him to maximize his ability in playoff type settings like that? Is that not necessarily that he has to shoot threes, but that he has to be a threat from more than, say, 10 feet out?
I hope so. It would help him. When that happens in relation to like a legitimate threat, I don't know. I believe it will happen sooner than others might. I see him shoot after practice. I see him play one-on-one at the elbow after practice. And I got confidence. He'll tell you deeper stories than I'm able to right now, but I got confidence.
Right, for large chunks after the starting unit came out, you had Jimmy and Joel paired together. You had.
Was that? Did I mean you guys' approval? I'll get it back.
No, I know how much you're
talking. Okay, that's right. That's right.
What did you make from kind of going your rotation beyond those?
I still think that what we're trying to do, when you start platooning and you start like pairing and you look out and you got, to your point, you got Joel and Jimmy against their bench. Yeah. And so when you start, shuffling the deck and trying to figure out how we're going to sub our team, we oftentimes are in that situation. And I think that the growth of the pairings is still evolving. We're still learning, who's paired with who the best. And, the introduction of Tobias is a really good problem to continue to figure that out. But today, I liked how we brought our guys in.
Having another guy in fights who's coming from the crowd to rebound and push. Yeah. I guess what does that do for your offense, not only in transition, but maybe getting some cross matches?
Yeah. I think it does wonders. We spoke about it in the pregame press. This is the best dribble out team that I have coached. You got Ben, you got Tobias, you got Jimmy Butler, you obviously got your traditional guards, TJ and so on. Even Joe probably took one dribble too many tonight, but like one dribble and then kick ahead or kick across. And I think that the dribble out guys, along with high outlet, mentality, that is the greatest launching pad to running that I know. And I think that the drags and other things that happen at the end of it can produce cross matches. But I like where you started first in that early sort of push, that force of early offense, I think can be, led by Ben, can be dangerous.
Going to April and May and what you want to do. You're playing 10 now. How much are you thinking what you can do between now and then in terms of changing or shortening the rotation, things like that? How much of that is on your mind?
That's all that's on my mind. That is all I think about, is how do you have a defense that can play in the playoffs. Right now, in the pace of the game made the game a little bit difficult. I think our defense right now is a B-, C+. We're okay. We turn it up, we turn it down. It needs to be better than it is, and it's certainly going to have to be better against the Celtics. But the notion of, what's the end game, it's always about the playoffs. Sets, wrinkles, rotations, all that.
Could you be a bit asked, as I apologize, it does going again, but from the second quarter on, that big run, late in that second quarter, what was the key in that stretch that kind of turned it around? It was kind of back and forth at that point, but you guys picked it up from that point forward.
I think the pace went to a better level. We did a really good job of, I said, not turning it over. Disregarded, take the first period out of it, which, you say is maybe like a D defensively. It was okay the rest of the year. It wasn't bad. And so, the defense kicked in, the pace kicked in. We shared the ball well. We didn't turn it over well. I think that was...
Ben, was shooting the three spontaneous for you, or did you think about it ahead of time?
I just said, might as well come down and pull it. Didn't really think about it.
You guys had conversations about goals for this last third of the season. What were those conversations like?
I think just being more aggressive, taking more open shots, and just trying to grow my game in that way. And I think I'm getting there. It takes time, but I'm going to get there.
You get guarded in a lot of different ways, but with LeBron, he was really hanging off the ground. When somebody plays you like that, what other guys you can focus on?
I have a guy, J.J. Redick, who loves coming off handoffs and knocking down shots. So, for him, he loved it. His eyes, were wide open, getting into that. And then, you see Bron trying to sprint up when you see me going into the handoffs, which is easier to get the roll. But, we just see what we have. And if they're going to guard it like that, we'll play the same way.
How much do you love the balance of this team right now with this starting five starting to show the full potential even today?
I think it's great. I think we have a lot of different options out there that we can go to and change up things in terms of who needs shots, where the shots are coming from. And then defensively, I think we're a great team in terms of that. Our length is great. We're able to switch on to different guys, no matter, what the situation is.
Mentally, the feeling after all the trades and up.
You have a lot more guys who have been in situations. Simmons, Tobias, a guy who's leading the Clippers, come and join us. You got Mike, who's an aggressive player, then James and Boban, who are just tough players, who help a lot.
What's it like keeping all those guys happy? Not only the new guys, but
it's about buying in. It's not about individual accolades, stats, or how you play. It's about winning.
In terms of being more aggressive, is any of that as a way to combat the way, say, the Celtics guarded you last year, just looking forward to the playoffs and trying to find more ways to be effective at that level?
Definitely. With this new five, I think it's just going to be exciting in terms of what we can do. There's a bunch of different varieties that we can run into.
When you mentioned, you were talking about how Redick is coming off screens and people have to come out and help. In some ways, is the new lineup you have maybe more conducive to preventing teams from doing some of the stuff they did last year, because you guys have so many weapons that if they do try to sag off of one guy, there's ways to take advantage of the space.
Yeah, definitely. But standing that far back and then me handing it off to JJ's, he wants that shot. So I'm going to give it to him every time if somebody's going to play like that.
Magic mentioned that you would reach out to the Lakers about possibly meeting with him about learning some different point guard techniques and things.
Definitely. Trying to learn from somebody like that would be huge. Getting to speak to him, he's been in multiple situations where he had to play the five, won championship, and just a Hall of Famer, and one of those guys that, in terms of what position I'm in, 6'10" point guard, I think he can help.
You intend to ask the Sixers for permission to do that?
Pardon?
Do you intend to ask the Sixers?
I mean, I'm not focused on that right now. You know, I'm focused on my team and what's going on, so maybe another time.
Defensively, from the last minutes of that game on Friday and from the second quarter on, you guys seem to find a sense to know when to lock it down. Is that something you guys have been gaining with the confidence defensively on, and how and when to know when to lock things down?
I think one of the things I've noticed coming to the NBA is, you know, once it gets down to the fourth quarter, guys really start to lock in because, you know, it's the last opportunity you get to really pull away or hold a lead. And I think that's just one of those things. Guys get fatigued during the game, but once it comes to that fourth quarter and the final, you know, 4 or 5 minutes, guys really lock in.
Ben, with all due respect, I mean, you say that you're confident pulling up from deep, but we have not seen that. So moving forward from now, like, is that something that you are very specifically trying to add and that we can expect to see that more often?
In terms of that, I'm just taking what they give me in terms of, you know, if I see somebody back up and JJ is coming off, I'm going to give it to him. You know, I will start pulling it, but it's not one of the things where I'm looking at, you know, it's not everything. You know, I'm not focused on just doing that. I'm going to play my game and play to my strengths and continue to try and get better.
Part of the second, and then late in the second, you guys kind of took over at that point. What changed, just either offense or defense?
You know, we wanted to get some stops, get back on defense. Their transition offense early in the game gave us problems. Kuzma gave us problems. We gave up a 40-point first quarter. So some of it was just, you know, getting some semblance of stops. I think it was a 27-point quarter, but not great, but better than we did in the first. And then our pace there to end the second quarter was great.
I know you said the other day you don't get space when you shoot the ball. I know you don't often, but do you get? Is it different having this many options on the court?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're getting sort of a sense of how we can play. You know, actions are the same, but you know, I'm coming off DHOs with Joel, and there's a third defender at the nail. You know, that's how teams are guarding it for the last couple weeks. You know, so we're getting to that second side. Jimmy got a downhill attack. TJ got some stuff when I was coming off floppy, where they're sending that third defender. But you know, again, some games I rewatched some of the plays from the other night, and you know, some of the open looks I had are just off broken plays or transition threes, and you know, you try to get as many of those as possible. Some games you may not get any of those, and so in the half court, you know, you just got to try to create as much space as you can.
LeBron is playing that far off Ben. Is that something you go to right away? Like, give me a DHL so I can.
Yeah, you know, LeBron for the most part did a really good job of reading when Ben was coming to DHO with me, and he would kind of sprint up into a what we call a red up. So you know, just a quick red, a quick switch. But you know, we ran an ATO in the fourth quarter when I hit that three at the top of the key, and that was to specifically take advantage of LeBron being in the paint off of Ben.
Joel,
Just really proud of this guy, man. He's just battling through some stuff this week. Both of us did. Joel probably had it worse than I did.
Joel, is there something specifically that you love playing the Lakers? Like, is there anything about this matchup? We seem to get the best out of you whenever you guys play.
I don't know. It goes for both LA teams. I must not be a big LA fan, but I don't know. It's fun. I don't know. I think I do it with every team, but I've been more consistent with both of the LA teams, and you know, I gotta make sure I do the same thing to every other team.
Joel, with all the new players here, Brett has said everybody should hear this. Joel is still the crown jewel. That's the word he used specifically in the offense. Is that important to you? Is it something you embrace, that role is the centerpiece to what's going on here still?
Our culture was built on sharing the ball, making sure the ball gets through everybody's hands, and you know, at the end of it, if you know, if they need me or if they need a bucket or the play is broken down, that's when I come in. But you know, my job is to make sure that I get this guy open and he finds me and he goes with everybody else. But you know, it's all about sharing the ball.
After a couple games, Joel, what is kind of your first impressions of your new starting five and the amount of damage you guys can do?
It's only been 2 games, but I think we got a chance. We got a lot to work on. Obviously, our whole offensive package hasn't been, used. We got a long way to go. But I think the potential we have, especially come playoff time, matching up with other teams, I think we got a chance, and we got to keep working, keep getting better, and learn how to play with each other.
The game that Tobias gives you extra space, with JJ Tobias, you've already noticed kind of having more room to operate?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, for sure. This three-point shooter in the lineup, he gives me so much more space. Want a double team, I guess it's easier to kick out. So I'm excited about this opportunity. I think we got it. So, yeah.
Are you feeling better than you were on Friday? And did JJ get you sick?
He definitely got me sick.
He texted me. I woke up that morning and he texted me at 3 a.m. It was like, fuck you, basically. He's like, you got me sick.
He got me sick. That day, the game he missed, he came in, he was really sick. And
I think he was the only person that actually touched me, too.
Yeah, I was so happy that he was back and that he was playing. And then I gave him a hug. I shook his hand. And guess what? The next time I'm the one sick. I'm throwing up. I never throw up. Like my whole life, I never throw up. And then that's how you know it was bad. So I texted him like you said. I told him F you. So, but I was feeling a little better today. Still under the weather, but I would have missed this opportunity to get better, especially with the players we just added. So I feel like I have to play this game so we can all get better and learn how to play with each other.
Your thoughts, Joel, yet? We haven't heard your thoughts yet, Joe, on Boban being added to this roster. What were your thoughts when you heard about it?
Well, I'm excited not to play against him anymore in games. Although I always find ways to kick his ass. But he's just a big body. I mean, just catching the ball and going over people and the things he can do at his size. He moves actually really well at his size, and he's amazing. And he brings us, another defensive potential, especially when it comes to shot blocking. That when I come out of games, people don't drive in the paint. It's easier. Yeah, he's been great. And even all those guys, they've been great. Tobias, you see they want to fit in. You see that they want to get better. They want to learn. They want to learn how to play with each other. So it's exciting.
You look at for moments tonight, when to take over, when to make key plays tonight, because you saw centers around different people, but we look for certain spots tonight in your game that you can take a play to take over.
I mean, after last game, I had probably the worst game of my career. Nothing was going well, and it's easy, when I'm on the court, especially with them. I always find them because I know that once he hit 2 or 3 shots, they're going to come in the man game. To me, it's unstoppable. So he gets me open, he gets other guys open. So that's the way I see it. Anytime we do really need a bucket, I feel like, our two-man game is the way to go.
Reaction to Ben shooting.
You sure?
I thought it was going in.
He was actually going in. Me personally, I was getting ready to run the play, and then I just saw the ball go over, and then I was like, oh shit, and then he caught me off guard, and then I'm in a position where I'm like, okay, like what just happened? But I thought he was in. He was in and out. I wish he would have made it, but he's been working on it. Every day we tell him, gotta shoot it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a 30% three-point shooter, And you got guys that still jump on my fake. I don't understand how that's possible, but they still do. So we all, every day he works on it, and I think he's coming. That was the first step, and I hope that he keeps shooting.
Made it seems like so easily the past 2 games. Obviously, it's not seamless, but just it seems pretty easy.
I've been in a lot of different situations throughout my whole career, so and something like I said last game, every new situation you just want to come in and kind of play off the love of the game and let everything else flow from there. And I've been able to get better year after year to be able to understand the game, understand my spots on the floor, understand how I can help a team. But a lot goes into it when you're in a new situation of just trying to fit in the right way, and it's got to be a good balance of trying to fit in but also be aggressive and to play your game. So a lot of study, but it's good because this is a really good team with great players, great guys, great coaching staff, and guys who want to help. So that's been probably the best part of it for me.
Pretty good knack of sort of when to be aggressive and when to, sort of come naturally because it is so new to you, here.
Yeah, I mean, it's like different situations on the court that I normally haven't been in sometimes out there, coming down the lane and being able to, kind of breathe down the lane because we have good spacing and guys who teams don't want to help off of, or come down the lane and having a big man like Joel would be able to trail in for an open three. Even him coming down the lane all the way in I think it was the first or second quarter where he just had a wide open dunk. So things like that just go hand in hand with the talent that we have and kind of the chemistry that we're continuing to build night after night. I mean, it's only been 2 games, but tonight I thought we did a good job just opposing our will offensively. Many things we can get better at defensively, but to be able to win a game like this and to say there's a big room for improvement too is a good feeling.
You guys had 33 assists on 56 buckets. Maybe extra pass several times. I think JJ hit you in the first half. Is that the kind of team you see?
Yeah, that's how we like it. Yeah.
Continue to grow as you guys continue to play together.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how we want to play. I mean, that is how we want to play. Anytime you're able to get 33 assists and keep the ball hopping from side to side. There was a fast break play. I think it was in the third or fourth quarter where we had like 4 to 5 passes for open three that I hit, and just that type of momentum and that type of spirit of the ball moving side to side. That's fun to be a part of and fun to play with. So if we can, envision it the way we want, it would be to be able to play that type of way and still at the same time have guys create their own shot, make their own plays, and still play in their game. So that's kind of how we would like to envision it.
Was the significance of Ben taking a three lost on you, and what did you think when you saw him?
I loved it, and it was in the basket too. But I think he's starting to see that for his game. The good thing about it is he has the ability to be such a dominant player out there on the floor because he can pass. He's so skilled and his size, and that's the next step for his game. But just to see that confidence, for him to be able to take it, I really believe that's the first step. I mean, and this is coming from somebody who my first couple of years in the league, I wasn't labeled a three-point shooter. So the first step is confidence, and then next after that is reps and continued reps. And once he starts being able to knock that three down, he's going to be the full package out there. But he took the first step tonight, and that was really good to see. And the shot should have went in.
Tobias, in a way, how does it help you that your first few games here, they're against good teams? You faced the Nuggets, you have Celtics coming up, you play LeBron today. Like, how does that help versus facing
more lottery type teams?
Yeah, I mean, you could play probably the lottery teams and, maybe able to get in a little bit more rhythm or whatever. But I think it's good playing against the good teams and seeing how you match up versus them, seeing how you play. And then, I'll just be straight up honest. The expectations are really high. Like I was telling Mike Scott at halftime, I was like, we have 7 points and we kind of look like we're down 17, but we were just kind of talking about the expectations of the team when you go into the game. You're expecting to impose your will, and that's a good feeling. And in my career, I've never been a part of that, and to be a part of it now, I love it. And I think as we continue to build our chemistry and grow, it's only going to be something that every single night we're out here playing for something bigger. And even being in the huddle and of the team, and we're not really playing these games just to win. We're playing them to win, but also be like the best team that we can be all around. So we're just trying to get better each and every night any way possible.
With that being said, you say you've never really been in a game like this. Tuesday's going to be crazy with the Celtics coming in town with the rivalry. What are you looking forward to in that matchup?
Well, I have been in a game like this, of course, but I'm just looking out. I'm just looking to go out there and continue to build on this. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, but I'm not a really big player on the whole show or whatever. I'm really about our guys, our team, and going out there and just executing the way we want to play and winning the game. That's how I look at it. And we know as a team, the Celtics, really good team, having some ups and downs as of late, but we got to go out there and same philosophy, same mentality, impose our will and win the game.
Tobias, with a couple of games under your belt now, is there anything that you've learned about like Coach Brown and his system that you picked up that you might not have known from the outside perspective against the team?
Yeah, I mean, I've always admired his system from afar, just the ball movement and the style of play. But it's just, coaches do a really good job of putting guys in the right positions and knowing good floor spacing, knowing good ball movement and good actions to get guys to their strength. So for me, it's just been a really good feeling to be a part of, and it's a great opportunity to come into. And he's been allowing me to play my game. I know, coming in, everybody was like used to run all these pick and rolls, and Clippers, Philly doesn't run too many pick and rolls. But I just always said like, I'm gonna just go out there and play my game, and pick and rolls don't define me as a basketball player. Playing hard and doing whatever I can to win defines me. So, he's put me still in some good situations out there to make plays and to be able to be a beneficiary of other guys making plays. So I'm happy for that. All right, thank you.